Kendra Lowell stepped into the lobby of Moreland and Rowe with quiet confidence. She was 43, steady, and seasoned not just in years, but in the weight she carried behind each choice she made. Her resume read like a playbook of modern marketing excellence, with campaigns that had boosted national brands and teams she'd nurtured from interns to industry leaders. She wasn't just ready for this next role, she was more than qualified. And yet, as the polished glass doors closed behind her and the receptionist barely glanced up, Kendra felt the weight of something she hadn't anticipated: dismissal before a single word had even been spoken. She smoothed the front of her navy blazer, her leather folio tucked under her arm, and approached the front desk with a smile that had weathered both pressure and politics. "Good morning," she said with warmth. "I'm here for the 10 o'clock with Erica Vaughn." The receptionist blinked, paused too long, then tapped lazily at her keyboard. "You're Kendra Lowell?" she asked, voice tilting up in slight surprise. "Yes," Kendra said, smile intact. Another pause. The receptionist picked up the desk phone, speaking in hushed tones, her eyes never leaving Kendra. After a brief conversation, she hung up and forced a smile. "Someone will be out shortly." Kendra thanked her and took a seat near the wide glass wall. The lobby was all chrome and angles designed to impress, but not to welcome. The space felt like a waiting room for someone else's version of power. At 10:07, a tall man with silver cufflinks and a too-practiced walk emerged from the frosted hallway. He looked past her at first, then did a double-take. "Kendra Lowell?" "Yes," she stood. "I'm Andrew Langley, Director of Brand Strategy. I'll be sitting in with Erica." "No handshake," just a gesture down the corridor. The walk to the interview room was silent, his shoes squeaking slightly on the polished tile. Kendra followed, heart steady, expression calm. She was no stranger to cold rooms. But this one was different. This wasn't skepticism, this was assumption wrapped in silk and pretense. Inside, Erica Vaughn sat behind a glass desk, laptop open, glasses perched low on her nose. She didn't rise. "Let's get started," she said flatly. The questions came sharp and fast. "Are you sure this is the role you applied for? How comfortable are you with client-facing platforms? This firm is fast-paced. Are you up to speed after 2 years out of the field?" Kendra answered each question with composure, clarity, and concrete examples. But beneath their words, there was something else. A tone, a shared glance, a narrative already written in their minds. When she mentioned her international work campaigns launched in Berlin, Singapore, and Toronto, Erica arched an eyebrow. "International? From where exactly?" Kendra answered, but the room was already moving on. At the 15-minute mark, Andrew closed his notebook. "Actually," he said, standing, "it looks like there was a miscommunication. This position was filled internally last night." Kendra opened her mouth, but Erica cut in smoothly. "We'll keep your resume on file." They didn't walk her out. They didn't thank her. The receptionist was already mid-conversation on her phone when Kendra passed the desk. No eye contact. No acknowledgement. In the elevator, Kendra stood tall, but something inside her folded. It wasn't hurt. Not yet. It was a heaviness. The sharp realization that she hadn't been seen, not as a professional, not as a person. She didn't drive away right away. She sat in her car in the underground garage, hands in her lap, the city traffic humming above her. She wasn't crying, but her throat burned. The ache of invisibility. She'd stepped back from her career 2 years earlier to care for her father. Hospice, home visits, late-night medication schedules. She'd done it all with the same precision she once brought to high-stakes marketing presentations. And after he passed, she'd taken 6 months to grieve, to breathe, to rediscover who she was outside of crisis. Then, over dinner one night, she looked across the table at her husband, Malcolm, and said quietly, "I'm ready." He hadn't asked for clarification. He just nodded and said, "Then go get it." What she didn't know was that Malcolm Lowell had just acquired controlling interest in Moreland and Rowe 3 days earlier, a quiet acquisition that had not yet been made public. He hadn't told anyone she was coming. He didn't prep the team. He wanted to observe. From his office on the 10th floor, behind a wall of tinted glass, Malcolm had watched the entire exchange, the receptionist's cold glance, Andrew's posture shift, Erica's thin smirk. He hadn't needed to listen hard. The room was wired for observation. Company policy under the new transition plan. But this wasn't just due diligence. This was personal. "Play back the last 2 minutes," he said to his analyst, Layla. She tapped a few keys, and Erica's voice replayed through a discreet speaker. The patronizing tone, the thin apology, the familiar phrase, "will keep your resume on file." Malcolm stood silent for a moment. Then he pressed the intercom button on the wall. "I want HR in my office at 11:30. All of them." "Yes, sir," came the assistant's voice. Downstairs, Kendra's phone buzzed. A text from Malcolm. "Heading home soon. Don't go anywhere just yet." She didn't reply. She knew him too well. That tone, no punctuation, meant one thing: focused. Upstairs, Malcolm had already begun the process. By 10:45, 2 board members were escorted to a temporary transition room. By 11 o'clock, Erica was adjusting her blouse in the office mirror while Andrew finished his sandwich. Neither of them had any idea what was coming. At exactly 11:30, they entered the boardroom. "No proyecte, no agenda, no confitrai." Just Malcolm standing at the head of the table. Erica glanced around, confused. "We weren't told." "You will be," Malcolm said calmly. He turned to HR Director Rosa Kim. "Go ahead." Rosa opened a folder. "We're here to review this morning's interview with Ms. Kendra Lowell." Andrew blinked. "I thought that was canceled." "It wasn't," Rosa said firmly. "It was recorded as part of our new oversight process." Erica's smile faltered. "Are we being accused of something?" "You're being asked to explain your conduct," Malcolm said, voice steady. "You had a candidate who exceeded every posted qualification," Rosa continued. "And instead of a professional interview, she was asked if she was sure she applied for the right job. She had a 2-year employment gap," Erica said weakly, "which was clearly explained caregiving for a terminal parent." Andrew shifted in his seat. "Look, it was a misread. Happens sometimes," Malcolm said. "To who exactly?" Silence. "We are reviewing all hiring decisions from the past 5 years," Malcolm continued. "Every rejected resume, every internal hire, every conversation recorded." Neither Erica nor Andrew spoke. "And when our leadership transition is announced next week, your names will not be part of it." Erica's mouth opened. "Wait, this isn't personal." "No," Malcolm said. "It's structural. And I have no time for structure that protects mediocrity and punishes excellence." An hour later, Kendra walked through the front doors again. This time, no cold receptionist. No false smiles. A man in a gray suit greeted her. "Ms. Lowell, right this way. Mr. Lowell is expecting you." She was escorted through a private hallway, past walls lined with framed awards and photos from landmark campaigns. The air smelled different here. Not just cleaner, it carried anticipation. In the executive conference room, Malcolm stood as she entered. Around the table sat senior leadership, 3 division heads, 1 legal advisor, and Rosa Kim. Malcolm introduced her. "This is Kendra Lowell," he said, "strategic marketing executive with 15 years of direct impact. This morning, our company failed to see her. Now, we correct that." Kendra didn't smile. She nodded and stepped forward. "I'd like to clarify something," she said, voice clear. "I didn't come here looking for a handout or validation. I came because I know what I bring to the table. I'm not someone to take a chance on. I'm a proven investment." There was a pause, the kind of silence that doesn't weigh heavy, but clears space. "I took time off because my father was dying. I will never apologize for that. What I won't accept is being dismissed for it." One of the executives, a woman named Jocelyn Green, leaned forward. "If given the opportunity, would you consider leading our restructured strategy team?" Kendra paused. Then, "I came here looking for a role. What I got was clarity, and I'm choosing to build something of my own." Malcolm didn't flinch. He smiled softly. "We're good," she said. "Always," he replied. The next morning, Moreland and Rowe's email system lit up with the subject line, "Leadership Update." The memo was sharp, direct. No fluff. 2 executives had been removed. A third-party audit was underway. A new CEO, Malcolm Lowell, was stepping in with a mission to restructure not just the org chart, but the culture. In a quiet cafe across town, Kendra was already several steps ahead. Her laptop was open. Her new business had a name. Anchor Point Strategies, a firm built on visibility, equity, and bold consumer storytelling. Former clients had already reached out, not out of pity, but respect. The barista set a free coffee beside her. "My mom told me what happened," she said. "You handled it like a queen." Kendra smiled. "Thank you." That night, at home, the house smelled like roasted rosemary and sage. Malcolm leaned against the fridge, watching her pour tea. "I didn't ask you to go to that interview to test you," he said. "I know," she replied. "You were testing them, and they failed. Badly. That's because you still give people the benefit of the doubt." Malcolm stepped closer. "You didn't flinch, though. Not even in that boardroom. I've learned stillness doesn't mean silence." He smiled. "They offered you the job, didn't they?" "They did," she said, handing him a mug. "But I told them I had something better." "What are you calling it?" "Anchor Point." He nodded. "Strong. Clean. Yours." She sipped her tea. "Do you think it matters?" she asked. One woman walking away. "It matters more than headlines. Most change doesn't come from press releases. It comes from someone like you, staying calm, not letting them off the hook just because they're uncomfortable." The doorbell rang. It was Jocelyn Green, holding a white envelope. "This is for you," she said. "Apology, signed acknowledgement, and a formal statement from the board." Kendra didn't take the envelope. "Respect doesn't come in a folder," she said. Jocelyn nodded. "Understood. For what it's worth, they're scared now. Not of you, of being seen." Kendra closed the door gently behind her. Back in the kitchen, Malcolm was scrolling his phone. "Someone from Everett Group messaged me," he said, "asking about you." "Tell them I don't do games," Kendra said. "Just results." They sat in the warmth of a home built on honesty, strategy, and respect. This wasn't about revenge. It never had been. This was about being seen and choosing not to shrink, even when the world wants you small.